Hey, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Drew, aka Booty Sweat, and today we're going to be looking at another custom variations guide for the character of Sub-Zero this time. So I hope you're ready. Strap yourself in. We're going to look at some custom variations that you can use to take online against your opponents in Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. This again is mostly for beginners or people who are just visiting the character or getting back into it. Either way, if you have any more suggestions, if you're a more advanced Sub-Zero player and I leave something out, then make sure you put that in the comments below. We all want to help each other out, so make sure you do that so we can have as much information as possible. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so starting off with Sub-Zero here, we have a pretty simple variation. Sub-Zero overall is not a very complicated character to play rather. So if you're just now getting into the game, then he's a pretty good starting point, a good place for you to start learning the game a little bit, excuse me. And the first move that we're going to look at with this variation is Deep Freeze. So of course Sub-Zero has his famous Ice Ball attack, which freezes them on contact. It is a high, so they can duck it rather than block it. And then of course while they're frozen you can get all kinds of stuff, like you can get the slide and amplify it. And if you get the slide and amplify it 3 times, then you get a crushing blow. I have easy crushing blows on so that you can just kind of go ahead and see that, but it's really good for that purpose. But the other thing about this variation is it actually has the ability to amplify that ice ball. So normally it looks like, well, it looks like that when you amplify it. So normally it looks like this, but it's much faster, comes out faster, and if you notice, it's a mid whenever you amplify it. So this is a 2-slot ability, and that's because it's really good, and obviously it kind of needs to be 2 slots to balance it out. We're going to be using Deep Freeze on 2 of the variations that we're looking at today, and so Deep Freeze is a good one because it also eats projectiles. So if your opponent throws a projectile and you throw this out, it will actually destroy the opponent's projectile, go through it, and then get the freeze, which is really good. And then of course, getting combos with the freeze ability is really good as well. So that was just kind of an example of a bread and butter combo that you can get with the ice ball, and then the deep freeze ability allows you to get more stuff from full screen. If your opponent's zoning a lot, then hey, you can kind of get in there and do whatever you want. Obviously you can't freeze again in the same combo, but it gives you the opportunity to do all kinds of stuff. If you hit them from, say, really far away, if you hit them from far away, you can reach the slide all the way there and get that crushing blow. And basically because they threw a projectile, you get 35% if you have that crushing blow loaded. So Deep Freeze is a really, really good ability, and you'll see it on a lot of Sub-Zero loadouts. Now the other move that we have on this loadout is Creeping Ice, and I think that Creeping Ice is really good because it's a low, so it gives Sub-Zero really good mix-ups, which he already has good mix-ups anyway. Slide is a low, and then he has this overhead. Now the problem with this overhead is that if they block it, if they don't block it, you have pretty good hit advantage and you can apply more pressure, but if they block it, you're minus 19. If they block the follow-up little kick move you saw there, if they block that, you're minus 19, you're super punishable. So if they guess the overhead, then they're probably going to punish you. But check this out. So with Creeping Ice equipped, you can instead go into it instead of the follow-up to that attack. You can amplify it, of course, for more damage, and amplifying it has another effect as well. So check that out. It pushes you way back, and you're only minus 5 on block, as you can see in the bottom left. So you are very, very safe if you throw that out. So you can kind of mix them up. A lot of people will get caught by that if they're expecting the overhead. Maybe you've conditioned them to expect the overhead a lot. Of course, you can stagger the overhead, and it's safe as well. But you can throw in, instead of following up with this, which is minus 19 and gets you blown up, you can follow up with Creeping Ice, which will keep you safe. Well, you gotta actually do it. So it's a really good move. It's good for ending combos. It's good for mix-ups. It's good for keeping you safe. Overall, has a very good amount of utility. There's lots of combo videos on YouTube about how you can use it in combos effectively in the corner and things like that. Look up some of those, but it's a really good utility move as well and gives Sub-Zero really good mix-ups, which he kind of already has anyway. So it makes him even more of a mix-up monster, and so you'll see a lot of success using this custom loadout. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, for variation 2, before we get into it, I just want to say again, if you're enjoying this, if this is helpful to you, then please make sure you like and subscribe. It would really help me out. But yeah, other than that, let's just get right into variation 2 that I have here for Sub-Zero. And the only difference here is that I have taken out the creeping ice and replaced it with the rising ice, which is this move right here, and you can amplify it for combos. So basically the draw of this move is getting you just some extra combo potential. You can get a lot of really good damage in the corner and mid screen with this launcher. And I'm just going to kind of show you a couple of the combos that you can get. You can cancel into this from your overhead, so if you manage to open them up with the overhead, you can get it with the back 3 low starter. You can get it with a punish if you do just the 2-1. If you do the 1-2, you can do all kinds of stuff to get into this ability. You can cancel all these things. Well, you have to use 1-2 in the corner during a combo, but I'll show you all that in just a moment. So let's go over a couple of those combos just so you can see real quick the utility of this move in terms of getting you some good damage and being able to do that both at mid screen and in the corner. So yeah, this combos pretty well with the deep freeze ability as well, because, you know, if you eat a projectile with it or whatever, then that gives you time usually to get in and get a little combo as well. And you can really punish your opponent just for trying to throw out a projectile against you. Alright, for the third variation of this video, we're going to keep it short and sweet, but basically if you want to annoy your opponent to the extreme, then you can use something like this. This is not really my preferred playstyle. Again, I mean, if you watch my other videos, I've already said it 1,000 times. I more prefer the rush down combo heavy type playstyle, but if you're so inclined, with this one we have we've got the air polar axe. So this is a move that is an air projectile that has quite frankly, a shit ton of range. So you're going to be able to hit from pretty far away, as you can see. Not quite that far, but that's still pretty far. It's a really good fast-acting projectile. Only 20 frames to startup for an air projectile is pretty good in this game, and air projectiles in general are pretty good in this game. In addition to that, we have included something called Arctic Trap. So Arctic Trap is this move. Whoops. So basically, it'll make this little swirling ball of ice, and if the opponent walks into it or touches it, then they'll be frozen. So that's pretty cool. So what's the practical applications for these abilities? Basically to zone them and annoy them to death. So you can still get decent enough combos with Sub-Zero. It's not really too hard to get good combos with him. You still have, you know, your basic kind of stuff, like you're still going to be able to do this kind of stuff, right? You know, that normal stuff that you already saw me do. You're still going to be able to do all of that kind of stuff and get his decent damage, but you're also going to be able to harass an opponent. Say you have life lead, or say you're trying to get 3 of these amplified slides so that you can get the crushing blow. You know, now you're only 1 away, say, and so now you're fishing for the other one. Well, you can put up an Arctic Trap, you can start throwing out these ice balls, and anytime they get frozen, basically you're in there for that third one, you can get the crushing blow. So in addition to that, you can really just keep them out with this stuff. This is a super annoying variation. Again, this is really not my preferred playstyle, but I think it's good. I think you're going to win matches, especially early on, against other players who don't know how to deal with this kind of stuff. And I've seen even pretty high-ranking players have success with this sort of stuff against other high-ranking players. So really, it's all up to you. If you don't prefer necessarily the high damage, high combo, heavy Sub-Zero play, then you can play something like this and really get on your opponent's nerves. And yeah, probably cause a few rage quits here and there. This kind of thing is also going to be really, really difficult to deal with online, which I probably shouldn't be like, yeah, scrub it out online. That's not really helping you improve as a player, but if it's your cup of tea, then you certainly can. I mean, look how far away that hits. Pretty good. Pretty good air projectile. Well, alright, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed these Sub-Zero variations for custom variation competitive play. Again, if you have any additional ideas or things like that, then make sure you put them in the comments below. This certainly is probably not the end-all be-all, but this is a great place to start, and I think these are really, really good variations. So, again, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and yeah, have a good one. Be blessed.